Okay, everybody, it is me, Gregory Mannarino. It is Wednesday, December 1st, 2021, and people, here we go again. More absolute, total freaking dog shit propaganda. Let's talk about the propaganda here. So, you want to laugh? Do you want to laugh a little bit? Okay. Go turn on Bloomberg, CNBC, Fox Business, any one of these mainstream channels, or just open up a new window and open up like Reuters. I don't know, pick one. It doesn't matter. The propaganda right now is that our economy is booming because, let's see, last month, according to the ADP report, we added 534,000 jobs. Well, only if that were actually true. You see, what you're not allowed to know, well, there's a couple of things. You're not allowed to know anything, that's the truth. But net, we are losing jobs every month. Okay. Every single week, we find out like 200,000 to 300,000 people are applying for first-time unemployment benefits. Okay, so let's see. If you zero this out, okay, at the end of every month, we are losing an epic amount of jobs. Why is this happening, people? Because you're not allowed to know the truth. The truth is the U.S. economy continues to free fall at its fastest pace ever in history, ever on record as a percentage of GDP. Well, actually, globally, the global economy is cratering at its fastest pace ever. And as I alluded to recently, if you were to look at the market capitalization of the global equity markets, the global stock markets, as a percentage of GDP there as well, it's so out of control. The stock markets of the world are in, well, beyond hyper bubbles. And believe me, this is no accident, and you know that. It's action of central banks. So let's go back to the propaganda this morning about how strong our economy is, and we're adding all these jobs. Net, we're losing jobs. You know that because you have a functioning brain. So what they're not going to tell you here is the labor force participation rate. That's the amount of people who are actually working today is the same as it was in 1975 when we were in recession. Okay, that's the last time we were here. But no, you're not allowed to know that. No, but see, because people, the curtailing of information, the censorship, the banning of truth is out of control. And it's just going to keep going on and on and on. It's just not going to stop. Just like everything else that we're seeing here, people, with the federal... Look, let me put this into perspective for you real quick. So yesterday, I had said to get long COVID. What did Greg Mannarino mean by that? It seems like a lot of people were confused. I understand that. Look, this is kind of like market lingo or investor lingo. Getting long an asset, any asset, means you're buying it expecting it to go higher. Getting short means you're betting against an asset. You understand? All right, maybe I should have clarified this a little more yesterday. Because I wake up this morning and my email box is like, what do you mean, Greg? What did this mean? I understand that. And I should have been, it's not your fault. It's my fault. I should have outlined this a little bit better. It's very simple, people. It goes back to what I've been explaining for years and freaking years, and it has worked for years and freaking years. At the risk, again, of sounding like a permabull, and a lot of people think I'm a permabull. I am not a permabull, but I'm not even going to go there right now. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and defend my position as to where I stand on the market. My lions out here clearly understand where I am with this market. Even those of you that don't trade the market know where Greg Mannarino stands. Now, getting long COVID, okay, means buy it all. Get in, do what they're doing. Okay, the Federal Reserve is buying it all. You got investment banks here, the Wall Street major banks, they're buying it all too. You got institutions like BlackRock buying up entire neighborhoods here. So when Greg Mannarino says get long COVID, I mean when any asset really falls in value in this environment, you buy, okay? You're buying the dips across the board, not just in the stock market, which is set for a nice rebound this morning, but you're buying the dips in crude oil. You're buying the dips in cryptocurrencies. You're buying the dips in precious metals. Let me explain this to you as well, okay? We understand the propaganda that we heard yesterday out of the mouth of Yellowstone Powell, Fed Chair Powell. Look, we already understand that they are the largest criminal cartel in the history of the world. The Federal Reserve is not only a criminal organization of the highest possible order, they are the most powerful organization in the world. Nothing comes close to the power of the Federal Reserve because they are backed by the entire military might of the United States Armed Forces. People don't even realize that. The petrodollar set this up. The fiat monetary system, which you heard from Elizabeth Warren yesterday. She wants to defend the Federal Reserve System, okay? The financial system, they own it, the Federal Reserve. Elizabeth Warren wants to defend that, and she wants to take away your rights to be in something else other than a Federal Reserve note. Look, I know this woman has worshipers, but look, I don't know what's wrong with you people out here. We have no representation, and you will know that. It's out of control. Anyway, so when I'm telling you again here, people, is gauging on what we understand, the Federal Reserve being the largest lying organization in the world, they're not going to taper in any meaningful way. I mean, this should be glaring in your face. They are not going to be raising rates in any meaningful way because the Fed is not done. The Fed is on a mission, people, to be the lender and freaking buyer of last resort. You understand? They want to own it all. And how they do that is by issuing more of their product, which is debt. That's the only thing a central bank can do, is issue debt and manipulate debt. That's all they do, okay? I told you, we have a global situation where nations are slaves to their central banks, with individual citizens also becoming slaves. It's a slave system. You want to talk about more of a slave system? So we understand that Jim Cramer, CNBC host, believes that the U.S. military should be able to go into your house, hold you down, and vax you. Okay, now we're hearing, this is epic. This was this morning on Bloomberg. We're hearing about more calls for a total vax mandate. A total, meaning no matter what you say, no matter what you do, they're going to put whatever is in that thing in your body. It's out of control. It's out of control. And if you think you've seen anything yet, you haven't. I'm telling you, it's all about control. Everything that you're seeing, and nothing is by accident. So again, we know the Fed is going to continue to inflate no matter what they say. All right, now they've stripped out the word transitory. Powell yesterday, it's time to retire transitory because inflation is not going to be transitory like this guy has been explaining to you since day one. I told you this was a lie. In fact, I had a meltdown over it. I said this is the biggest lie and they know it's a lie. They're going to continue to inflate. And right now, what do you think the Fed is doing? They're issuing debt through one door. They're buying it back through another door. This mechanism, people, I have told you since day one, is massively inflationary. And it's not going to stop. It's going to go on and on and on. And the markets are going to become more distorted. Let's look over at risk in this market. The MMRI cratered yesterday. The entire yield curve came down. The dollar fell in value. Again, the MMRI is looking at the debt market as a whole, okay? And letting us gauge risk. Again, what's driving the market? It's the debt market as a whole. So if we can see for ourselves the action in the debt market, Well, we can, and how it's being reflected in risk. Well, that tells us what we should be doing here in the stock market. It really, look, it's not a standalone indicator. You got to take in the global picture of what's going on everywhere. And that's why I sit here and do this every freaking day, so you have an idea of what you should be doing. This is a channel for people who want to understand what's really going on and then make their right choices for themselves. You understand? And that's another thing. Don't believe anything I'm telling you. Research it for yourself. With regard to, I just told you earlier that the labor force participation rate today is the same as it was in 1975 when we were in recession. You're not allowed to know that. You're supposed to think we're booming and we're adding jobs. Meanwhile, we're losing jobs every single month as our economy is in free fall. There's no end in sight to the free fall here, period. And this free fall of the economy is by design. When you hear the Fed chair like yesterday, he said our economy is strong. You know the polar opposite is true. You believe that guy? Do you believe a thing that comes out of the mouth of the Federal Reserve? No. The Federal Reserve can do anything they want at any moment. They are the real government, people. We have nothing. Let's go back to the market real quick. So stock futures are higher across the board, pointing towards a higher open. Dollar is weaker. Silver's flat, gold catching a bid, cryptocurrency is getting bid higher. Crude oil catching a very nice bid. I think it's up over 3% right now. Won't be allowed to stay here, you know that. And crude oil, in my view, is in the death zone. When it gets to this level, people die. It's a phenomenon that we see over and over again, people, so I want you to be aware of that. I really do. Anyway, I covered a lot of stuff here with you people. I hope you ponder these things. Anyway, let's talk further. Today is the first of the month. On the first of every month, I ask you straight out to please support my work. If you think Greg Mannarino is worthwhile, if you think Greg Mannarino is working hard and deserves your support, well, I would greatly appreciate that. In the description of this video, well, there's 2 links down there. One, if you feel like sending me cash, okay, I would greatly appreciate that. How about just $5? $5 a month, I think is well worthwhile. If you want to send me crypto, there's another link down there. Greg Mannarino loves crypto. And I can tell you this, I think it's going much higher. I will not change my stance. Anyway, people, I hope you choose to support my work. Look, as much as you count on me, I count on you too. I really do. And I don't think that $5 is too much to ask for once a month. Anyway, I hope you choose to support my work. There is a link in the description of this video. I will see all of you at the end of the day. Love you a lot.